So, got it. Okay. I can share the full screen here. Okay. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Nikah Bennett, but Nikah Bennett's my artist name. Gotta kind of come up with a creative name. Um, this is my son here. For all those I haven't introduced him to, his name is Taj. Uh, I don't have a traditional studio space. A lot of my work has been created inside my house. My new work's been created inside my house or past apartments or houses I've lived in. And gonna go through this PowerPoint. I took inspiration from everyone else's studio visits I watched because Robin sent me some samples. So here I wanted to start off with kind of a back story, kind of like my show at the health center, kind of do like a timeline. So I'm gonna do a timeline as to kind of how in this present moment, how I've gotten to be able to be here in this moment. So starting from the beginning, this is my first work. I created this, I don't even remember the date, like maybe 2008 or 9. It was a long time ago. And I was in school. I went to BOCES Tech here in Yorktown for my last 2 years of high school. Art has always been an outlet for me because I kind of struggled making friends in school. And, I come from a Caribbean background where my parents are extremely strict and just difficult. And art was like my way of just calming my nerves and be able to kind of dive into like a different world. And so I've always thought of just whimsicalness. I love watching Disney growing up and Nickelodeon and cartoons and kind of fun, funky stuff. And my mind, because I grew up Christian and going to church every Sunday and Wednesdays and doing church activities, like I always thought about other world type of things and spiritual aspects and kind of connecting things to the Bible. And so for me, when I created this work back then at a young time, your mind is very impressionable. And I thought about kind of the tree of life and just kind of different things I will learn in school and compare it versus going to church and going to school, you learn different things. And newspaper was like a object that was always around my house. And I love to kind of rip up the pages and glue them to things, my notebooks. And canvases became like a new thing for me to glue things on because of like school. And my teacher introducing, I remember my teacher in 6th grade introducing a project where we were able to make like paper mache. So I've kind of always had intrigue for that and kind of gluing things. So taking newspaper and throwing them on cardboard or canvas was something that I did back then. And these are 4 different individual paintings that I made like a collage for. And I think I threw this on like Tumblr when I had it. This top one here with the red tree was like kind of like a dark moment of thought for me. Tree of life and like blood, but then like the yellow was like the sun coming out. And just I was in just like a place of just kind of confusion back then, honestly. And trying to express things with words. Ice cream was like a favorite treat of mine. So I remember doing this project because I wanted to incorporate ice cream as like this sweet, delicate detail to my life. And having the whimsicalness mind that I had back then of wanting to be like a mermaid or a fairy being stuck in Disney, I decided to create work that represented that. This is another little sketch. This is when I tied into my Black feminist phase, and I wanted to be sort of like a rebel and kind of think more kind of dark scene type stuff. So this girl here is just looking at the chaos of the world, and it's just lines and direction and um, countries of like Africa being a focus point for me. And I was obsessed with circles because I was like obsessed with Da Vinci and wrapping myself around like what is the world going on here. So it's kind of like a transpire into my end of high school era, because a lot of my paintings have been dismissed based on me throwing them out or I've given them away. So I kind of just jumped right back into my art for college. Um, these are sculptures. I didn't do much painting or drawing in college because I had a moment of discouragement from painting or being an artist or pursuing art because I was told it's not a good field to go into for financial reasons, and you need to pick something more structured or stern. So I thought engineering and architecture would be it, and it kind of tied in back to me being in sixth grade, and someone came into my class for like career day, and it was architect, and I was like, okay, maybe this is the path I'm supposed to be on. So architecture was my ultimate choice for I guess career path, because I didn't get into the art school I applied to, and my grades weren't that great. So I got into like the community college that's on campus. And so I said, okay, let's see what architecture is. My parents have, bought house and they built it up, so maybe I can like it. And I did. I do still like it, and I don't do it. I do like interior design now, but I still like it. And I got obsessed with formwork and lines and structures. So these are like miniature sculptures that I made from like the scraps of projects that I did. And I kind of got obsessed with, at the end of every single model, I've never, kind of funny story, because I've never really paid attention to the model work my professors wanted me to do. I kind of said, okay, I'm going to create anything, give it to them. And then in my own free time or spare time, what can make me happy is taking the scraps and do things that can make me happy. And so here's another little sculpture that I made. These are like scraps that I find that my classmates would kind of throw around. And so I'll take them and create little things. And I don't have none of this stuff now because they kind of got ruined after I left home and like moved to DC. So, but I can make them again. These are other little sculptures too that I made out of scraps. And this goes back into, this right here is my junior year of college. This is where I was sitting in my dorm room one night and like, dang, I really love art. Like, like I wish I went to the art school or I got in. I have to still tie into this side of me. I can't like give it up no matter how discouraged or my anxiety or panic so make me feel. So watercolor was a medium that I started to jump into because I never did it like when I went to the tech school or throughout high school. I just, whatever my teacher told me to do with like acrylic paints or sketch, pencil, I would do. And so watercolor was something that I taught myself in my dorm room to do. And this one right here with the flowers on the face, that's a mixture of color pencil and pen. I wanted to kind of see myself, this is me seeing myself into my paintings and all the people that I know, and kind of narrow down my focal and depict myself through my characters. So this painting with the glasses is called Gloria. I really don't remember the name for this lady with the line work. This is just kind of expressive type work. If I'm babbling, I'm sorry. This is kind of how I am. Okay, and here we go to in college. I'm a young girl, and this was like this is 2010, between 2016. So this is the height of now police brutality is coming about in 2012. with so many different killings, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, so many others. And um, I wanted to kind of find, I don't know what type of message I'm supposed to stand into the art world. How can I get my voice out, show some sort of importance and structure to where we are. So I tied in back to like my pencil days and looking back at history of the pyramids and coliseums and uh, strength of a Black woman. And this bottom picture with circles is inspired by my group of friends that I have throughout college, and just kind of structure of sternness and femininity uh, and ideologies of like childhood. So I loved sketching like little babies back then, and just kind of create random kind of things. So here, this is my political shift. Black Lives Matter, this when Black Lives Matter movement came about. I got really, really sort of Pan-African and wanted to create kind of flyer work and political stand sort of work. This is more in like a advertising type of feel type of work. I try to create work, I don't know, throughout different types of styles and mediums. I don't know, things that just come to me. And these two are like my favorite. This monster type guy, I kind of lean towards him now. I do like little images with him, little ad works that I post on like my Instagram, but he's called Black Mang. And I created him back in 2014. And he is like a representation of like so much for me in terms of like Black improvement, or what can be seen as like a Black man being so monstrous. Orange is like a very strong detail color, and it's one of my favorites. I want to tie in some Caribbean flair, so I have like the green, the red, the yellow in there. And the lines are just like chaos. So he's just kind of like all over the place. And it's just a symbolism for what can a Black person be can look like, just monstrous in form, but the details or real understanding is just completely out of whack. And to tie into this young lady, it's called Battered Eve. And I don't want to say it's like a foreshadowing to like me in a situation that I just recently got out of. And I don't know why it came to me when I painted it. But I was just kind of thinking about a lot of young women, especially myself on campus, and coming from the background in which I came from having strict parents and not being allowed to date, but you are having now this new form of freedom, and you deal with different boys on campus who are just kind of like toxic and dark, but like you don't know how to like kind of handle it. And it took me some years, of course, now to be able to understand that people are just kind of horrible. But yeah, that's Battered Eve, and this is Black Man, two of my favorites. So this right here was like my junior year, senior year, and I was trying to figure out, okay, what is going on with my life, you know? So this is lost self. This is when I kind of stopped painting and like I didn't know what to do. And yeah. So this is like a year's, I'm gonna say this is, I graduated in 2016, January 2016, all the way up to my child being 2018. I didn't paint or draw or do anything, nothing. Trying to find like jobs and works, and which I did. I ended up moving to DC, leaving home and getting into a toxic relationship and just losing myself. And then, you know, becoming a mom now was like my sort of, it's like cliche moment of like your mom, like you have to like work hard and make something for your son. And, I wanted him to know always that he could be anything that he wanted to be. And I think my lost self was, me being belittled and kind of mentally abused by a lot of people in my life that, I wouldn't make it or I wouldn't do anything with my life. And which is not the case. I've always wanted to, I know what I wanted to be, and I was kind of discouraged by it. And so he was like my outlet, my son. So I kind of create these little art sort of posters that I show him frequently now. So I could be like, remember when I drew this? You could be an astronaut or a NASCAR driver one day or something. And he could see himself in it. And this is me owning into that motherhood or Black motherhood, and using him as a way of creating like this digital sort of art, still not knowing what type of style I love to focus on or what. It just kind of things that just come to me. And here is like me owning it onto motherhood, putting myself actually in the work. This strong male figure you can see in the back here is actually a picture of my ex, and kind of just incorporating him. He's behind me now. And all this stuff here within me is like love, real fruit, God, life. And then here to the right, if you could get the gist of where I'm going, this is something that I created with my son. And so this is his creative outlet and me teaching him art. And this is another piece that I created back in 2020. Slowly but surely, taking times at night. I created this in 2020, like in June 2020, late at night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep. Like, I have things on my mind dealing with abuse and just leaving a bad relationship and trying to make sense of like what I just went through. And so it's a lot of chaotic, but it's called Bloom. And it's me blooming into something else. And this is me telling myself that. So it's a lot of flowers, and it's just chaotic and all over the place. But it's just me telling myself I'm going to bloom. And then kind of just transfer it into whatever I see now in like popular culture. So like COVID pandemic, this is like a shock to society. So I created him for that. And this is me embarking in with the 4C entourage, Kita, Nikita, Nikita, and Quita, me embarking on, now I want to put a stamp on myself as artist. I've always been doing this, but I want to like give it away or sell them. So my cousin was my first customer, and she bought this piece, and it's in her hair salon in Brooklyn. And I wanted to transform also and continue that sort of style vibe of these 4 girls, because I think my friends, because it's a group of 4, and I think I stuck in the group of 4 because I'm the eldest of 4, and I've always been attracted to like just being in groups of 4 for whatever reason. And my friends kind of inspired these 2 pieces because it's just 4 of us gals kind of going through life and dealing with things. And I wanted like this kind of look on these girls and have an attitude, but being sophisticated as well. Hopefully you guys are following along to where I'm going. And okay, now we're going to shift to a different style. And so tying back into like whimsicalness or kind of just meshing things together. I like use some of the flowers from the Bloom piece within these 2 pieces, and they're called Blackenstein, Mr. and Mrs. Blackenstein, and another play on Black people. Yeah, but like, different shades of Black people or different colors of Black people. And I wanted some sort of sophisticatedness to them. So I did like a first for me, and this was like back in, I think, summer 2020, because I didn't do it last year. I went to the city, and I've always wanted to do it. The street vendors, they go to the street and they sell their art. And so I did it for the first time in Harlem, and I sold Mr. Blackenstein. And that felt really good, because it's something I've never thought about doing, and I did it. And then I said, you know what, he needs a wife because I miss him so much because I sold it. And so I created Mrs. Blackenstein, and I love them. And because like I have this thing where I like to create like a realized or digital image of the things that I do. So I wanted to create him to reality. So I'm like, what can he look like if he was a real person? And this is what he'll be. And these are me just owning into like creativity and trying to keep it flowing so I don't get my mind focused on the negative. And I find like artists or actors that I get attached to, and then I'll sketch them. This is a series of work, excuse me, that I also created, just owning it on womanhood and tying to the beauty of kind of Black women, because it's what I can relate to. And here you can see the painting behind me. It started off as this little lady here. And then I said, how can I kind of tweak her into something bigger? And so I turned her into here. And I should say the names. This one is called Shy Pretty Girl, this smaller piece here. This is called, why am I forgetting the name of my own painting? I will tell you in a second. Sorry. Okay, Black Girl, Black Matter, Black Matter. I think because I made these names so long, so sometimes I forget. Black Girl, Black Matter, Black Matter. And this was again painted in the middle of the night. I was watching Alice in Wonderland and kind of thinking like, what am I gonna paint right now? I know I need to paint something, but what am I gonna paint? And my sister came to mind. I think we had just gotten into an argument, and I wanted to paint her to kind of, own into something like, yeah, you do mean something to me, and you are special to me. And so I named it Black Girl, Black Matter, Black Matter. And just kind of this sophisticated woman with the crazy hair, like the Mad Hatter. So it's kind of like madness. And of course, we just had an argument, and I was thinking about like, flames of hair, but also kind of beauty. So she has these big bright eyes and these big bold lips. And the background is like kind of black and just kind of just in a place where just standing firm and straight. And I want to also tie in those little flowers that I've been doing. So this is me still trying to figure out style. And again, like I said, I like to digitalize. So I wanted to see what she can look like in a real sense. And this is me going back into my Black man type of guy. And here I'm testing out how I can transform him into different ways. And he has so much meat in this little watercolor, which is like a little 5x7. But how can I make him bigger? So this bigger piece here, I think this is like maybe 24x36. And I sold this actually on the same day that I did the Harlem kind of artist be free type of thing. But also how can I move this into the interior design aspect that I do like to do, because I do have a degree in architecture, and I'm like, I do this, so how can I also cater this to society or within that work? So I kind of create this kind of pop culture references and use things that I know people kind of like. And so these are something that I create in like home styler, so designing like a little home, but designing it around the figured artwork and colors. And so these are another little things. So what I like to do on my Instagram is like pop out every once in a while, like something, like a little ad or something. And it uses that figure within it. And so I for the first time, I decided to make him to like a little sculpture piece. And so you can see that right there. Then I did like a little Halloween segment. It's like a little poster. that I did, and something just kind of fun, funky. And I did this for this month, March is Women's Month. And then I do like a little GIF. And this is like another little addition. So here I have a little video in here. I got this idea from Carol because I saw that she does film. So I was like, oh, I could put like a little video that I do if it could play. Hopefully the sound works. If not, there's not really no sound.
I can't tell you how much I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Do you notice what I was doing it that way? I ate. I was opening a bank account. That happened.
Okay. So sometimes, I don't know, I get these wild ideas to like do things. And resin is something that I've been working on or working with for the past year. I make like these little coasters or trays, and I add like flowers. If you have any like young kids or, nieces or nephews or grandchildren who are on TikTok, it's like a thing now. So I wanted to test into what everyone is doing and try my hands on resin, but I wanted to use it in a way where I can incorporate it into my art. And this little figure guy, which I plan to make more of, I want to in a future, hopefully show I can do and kind of create like a series of them. I think that would be pretty cool in like different colors. And this is another kind of ad or poster work that I do. Juneteenth came about this past year, and I was like, okay, I need to do something for it and do my take on characters. These are all like, make-believe characters that, bring on this modern approach and kind of tie in some historical factors for our ancestors and also those who are in the present. So some strong lead-in type of people. And this is me working with different mediums and kind of use drawing in digital and watercolor using different focal points of people. I at times do these little videos where I show like the beginning to the end. Something I do like Instagram. Oh, there was sound, I don't know. Yeah, my little flowers are a thing for me. And then this kind of transpires into like my newer type of work, this stuff that I created last year, then the summer, using oil for the first time because I'm not an oil painter. I wanted to test it out. And so I used it, this piece is untitled, and I kind of tying back to you, kind of using men now. I don't paint them very often, but I'm raising a boy, so I wanted to kind of relate. And here's watercolor with a mixture of acrylic and using gouache. I don't even know how to pronounce it. The first time using it too. And I like to get random items, and this is the plaster tape. And so I put it on the background of this watercolor paper. It's like a 22 by 30 piece of paper. And I just kind of put it on and it painted over it and I took it off. So show this kind of print. And she's called Pinkerton because the background. Whoever sees this, when they come over, they think it's my sister, but it's not. Which shows kind of why I do my work, because it's all relatable. I think us as Black people kind of a lot of similarities in terms of look because of the regions in which people are coming from. This is me expanding these are my materials. So this is me going back to resin and different material because I don't usually do kind of circular things, but tying back to my beginning stages of obsessions with circles and mixing mediums. This is my resin work that I was telling you guys about. So this is like the coasters and trays that I use, and I sell them minimally. So this is owning into my home decor love. And I did a project for HUTV, so which is like miniature works. And I like to create these little miniature objects every once in a while. So back ties into college and my creations of models. And this is a view of something I did, which it aired December 2020. I brought my mom on the show and we created like this house, and it was based on different genres. So our episode was retro. So I created like a retro Tudor style Christmas theme. Here's a little snippet.
Nikah Andrews, and I am an artist and designer.
I'm Nikah Benne. I'm a social worker, and I also love to do design. I'm gonna put a fabric right here, okay?
Yeah.
How wide is fireplace normally? We have almost 10 inches to work with, so we'll make it 5 inches, so it'll be like a 5-foot wide fireplace. My background in miniatures comes from my degree in architecture. For every project in design, we had to make a model, and my mom has an eye for design as well.
I'm not a professional designer, but I love to be creative, working on the fireplace. So far, so good.
So when we first heard that it was going to be a retro theme, we were excited. Our retro 70s theme
This is what they did.
is going to have 3 floors, kitchen, living and dining room, bedroom and bathroom, and we're going to have an atrium area, mid-century modern furniture, make it groovy.
We're gonna bring out the retro style with the pop-up color, little patterns, little stripes, little organized.
Yeah, I thought it was so cool that they turned it into like a 3D sort of thing. Yeah.
Nikah Andrews, and I am an
All right,
artist
we're
and
going now.
designer.
Next page. Oops. Right. Yeah. And this brings me on to present day. This is the works of the show that I did at Sun River Health, thanks to Wilfredo. And going in, this here is for the collection, Black Pie collection. I love all these pieces. Black Ambition here, Black Hibiscus, and Voice of Love. This is me owning in now. I'm like, I need to create a style that I hopefully stick to, and tie in everything in which I like know from all being self-taught. So I used acrylic paint here, and the line work is used from yarn. So I want to tie into African heritage and some sort of architecture. So some linear lines, straight, horizontal, vertical lines, different directions, and kind of create this kind of scene atmosphere. And here's more work, matriarch. This one's untitled, and an image of my son. And then here we go, the last 2 out of the 8. And these are, like Robin said, can be seen still at Sun River Health. They're hung up to the end of the month. And this now is me having my side notions, because sometimes I just have to create something that's kind of wacky. And I had the chance, one of the first times, to present this. So I put my work on like sites like Entrepreneurs, a website. So I posted my art on there, and they were going to host a gallery. So they chose out of like the thousands that are in, on the site, and they picked mines. And the last Wednesday, they hosted like, it's a three-day week, so Wednesday to this past Sunday. The show ended, and it's called Earthiversity Class of 2021. And it's just kind of an ode to popular culture, with this alien talk, but also ode to top artists or most influential type of people. You have Andy Warhol, MLK, Shirley, Frida, Pablo, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, Toni Morrison, Maya Angelou, Basquiat, Nina Simone. Yeah. Mixed with aliens, different. It kind of ties in back like to my little guy, my black man guy. I do like the little faces sometimes in my head. That's what I do. And here is kind of something that I've done in the last few days. And so with this whole talk of politics, I'm gonna say, or the war that's going on with Ukraine and Russia, and I go into like the forefathers of like America, and like think about, kind of how America stands in kind of some of the situations, how they kind of instigate certain things. And so like I look at like them as aliens sometimes, like these foreign creatures. And Robin had asked if I had done anything creative lately, and this is what I created like in the last few days. Was this kind of right here, this little thing. I did kind of take random things, and I put it on the board, and then I poured resin on top. And that's it. Oh, I also have an upcoming, I want to say show. I'm not the only one, but I sometimes apply for like these contests or things. And this one was for Rockefeller Center. So they have all those flags. Then they go around. I should have added it in there. I don't know why I didn't, but they add these flags like around wherever they have it in Rockefeller Center. And this one is for climate control. It's from April 1st to May 1st. And I got the email yesterday, and they're gonna use my artwork for one of the flags. So that's pretty cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm like, wow, this is nice. Yeah, that's me. That's
Wow.
Nikah
Thank
Benne
you.
is, and yeah, I like painting. I like art. It's expressive for me.
Nikah, hi, my name is Soan, and I just wanted to say, I guess it was about when your show first went up at the health center. I didn't even know who you were or anything. And I walk around town a lot, and I just had to see it. I was bowled over,
Thank you.
like, who is this person? This is fabulous work. And your work, I've loved seeing all your different kind of modalities and expressions, but I'm really floored. I really appreciate it that you showed us your whole body of work, and, I think you're just gonna really blossom.
Thank you.
It's fabulous. Thank
Shanika,
you.
could you do us a favor and stop the screen sharing so we could all see each other?
Oh, okay.
Oh, I can,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So, Nikah, I want to say that I'm completely bowled over right now. I
Mhm.
really am. Not just by your work, but also by your passion, your energy, how much talent you have. And I think the one thing I would say critically for you is I think you're too hard on yourself about trying to find the one style. I
Mm.
think it's an exploration. What you're
Okay.
doing is an exploration, and each thing leads to something else, and you don't have to only be one.
Yeah.
Because you as a person aren't unidimensional, right? They're all different parts of you. So your work is going to have all different parts. And your creativity, maybe different media are going to let you express different parts of your creativity. So I'd say let yourself continue to go with it. Don't try to pin yourself down,
Okay.
But I'm so appreciative that you agreed to do this tonight.
Thank you.
I would just like to say thank you for sharing your work. Your presentation was spectacular. How
Thank you.
you evolved from your beginnings to where you are now. And I totally agree with Robin. All your work is all cohesive because it's you.
Mm.
And who cares if it goes off here or there, because that's life. We grow and we develop, and your work is just tremendous, absolutely tremendous. I want to go back in my studio and paint some more. You have inspired me. And and your son, the joy that you have expressing with your son and growing with your son and growing with life, it was just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to go see it in person.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nikah, I just want to thank you for taking us on your journey, for being so honest about what brings you to art. You've really shared some very powerful and intimate things with us tonight. And I can't believe that you're self-taught.
Yeah.
You are a tremendous talent. And I would just say that keep doing what you're doing. I love your art. I love seeing Black people represented in your pieces. I love how you incorporate, social media and film, and just sort of bringing a young generation, because you are young, and just bringing that kind of energy into the work as well. And I'm just so glad you're a part of this community, and I'm just looking forward to just seeing so much more of what you can do.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I found your work so fresh and pure. The journey, just
Yeah.
really, and
My
just really from the
favorite-
heart, like this sharing that, where you came from. I was like blown away by the end. I was like, whoa, like what an evolution. It's just, you've got a long way, amazing things ahead.
Thank you.
Nikah, I also feel that, it's, I think, a way of you're showing how to embarrass the educational system,
Yeah.
because here you have so much insight and talent, and have such a tight, strong emotional relationship to your artwork, and yet it doesn't seem like anyone was really there to nurture you.
Yeah.
And you discovered, to nurture yourself, which speaks volumes.
Nikah, thank you for celebrating Women's Month
Oh, yeah.
in such a way. You really, really give an amazing, amazing meaning to that word, celebrating you, celebrating women, women's leader. And I think that as it was said, you were born with this amazing talent as a woman, and you had embraced it. Yes, society says all kinds of stuff. And unfortunately, those things are the thing that separates us, create barriers. Here, you have, life had no borders. And I think that you had taken this journey to now. And I think that, as everybody said, you had to just keep going and create more. But my goodness, what a beautiful, beautiful presentation, and what a beautiful soul you
Thank you.
have.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
My favorite, I'd like to just say which piece moved me, was the one, I think it was your sister. There were 3 of them, and you did a digital one, and her neck was so thin and her shirt was so white. And there was just that piece was really beautiful.
Thank you.
And the background, was very expressive.
Yeah, that one. What I like about this piece here is it's like really different from the work that I do. I showed Wilfredo, and he was trying to explain to me like what the type was. It would be folk art, and in it, which expresses me in like this funky way of kind of matching kind of different mediums. I wanted her with the thin neck sort of point, had this kind of elongated, elegance, so she stands very straight and upright, and, tying back into cultural references, different tribes, not just in Africa. There's a tribe in Thailand, and they wear like the gold rings. I don't know or can recall what their name is, but, they do it for like beauty standards. And in typical, I guess, painting or artwork, what I've been finding, or this is me personally in my view, is, that oil sort of like realistic approach of painting is kind of like seen as like, oh, the ode to art, but something like, childlike or kind of free is where I was headed with this one. And, in the moment, just to kind of use what I had in front of me to represent someone who's dear to me. Yeah.
You've used the word expressive, and Inez used it, and I feel your expressions, and you're somehow able to simplify the strokes you use. Like they're complex, but not, they're simply yet complex. The expressions seem complex, but the work feels very straight to the point. It really resonates. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I try to do that with the titles too. So you can get a hint of where I'm going with it without kind of explaining it too much. But sometimes I kind of get carried away with the titles and kind of made them too long for me to remember, or others. But just, yeah, storytelling in a sense. Yeah.
What's coming up next for you, Nikah? So congratulations on getting that flag commission. That's great. What else is going on with you?
See, I don't know. And I think that's kind of, I don't know how I'm kind of leading my life. Like I actually don't know. I had plans to go to Michael's and get a canvas and of course see what comes to me to paint. And but I turned 30 in August. So I really want to host a show, kind of like this closing out and going into this 30s, which is like this magical year for women in motherhood or in womanhood, and incorporate my Black man piece and do like, I was saying, like these little sculptures, like I have it in my mind, but planning it, hopefully it could happen, like, by then, hopefully. I don't know.
That Black man piece, I think, has commercial potential. Definitely. if you're in the money area, if you're interested in money and marketing. I think all the different designs and patterns you put on them are very interesting. And the thing that you had on the wall, where you have like 5 different
Oh, yeah.
shapes with different
Yeah.
patterns, that could look really cool in 3D. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's just an idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to figure out how to, incorporate more 3D work without like just doing model things. So I'm kind of teaching myself that. Um, yeah, I don't know where I'm headed, but yeah, this is what I do, what I kind of do every day. Put out like little things or kind of what are creative notions that come about. Um, yeah. I think most of my work that I create all falls back to like expression. I think that's a word for me because expression, or being a talkative, like in a scene like this, and this is me being candid and honest. I can talk freely. In person, it'll be a little bit different because there's anxiety and introvertness. And so art, yeah, as a whole, like, you'll be able to talk to artists. This feels very comfortable and nice, and like I feel like a sense of like love and understanding there. And yeah, that's the kind of the great part for me. And so in this moment now, I guess to be inspired for work, yeah. And what I can do next is kind of take in this experience and present it somehow in my next piece. And I'll probably end up doing that. Yeah.
I'd just like to say to anyone who hasn't seen Nikah's show at the health center, you should see it in person. I mean, it's wonderful on, the computer, but it's so powerful, those big pieces, so.
Those portraits are really, really strong. They embody so much, and they're really powerful pieces. So I just go in whatever direction you want to, but don't leave them behind.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Nikah, do you live here in Peekskill?
I live in Yorktown.
Oh, okay.
I'm not too far. Yeah. Yeah. I grew up, I went to high school here. So I was born in the Bronx, and I went to school in the middle school and elementary school in Mount Vernon. And I don't know. I think I was just weird and awkward, so I got picked on a lot. But then my mom, she wanted like, different life for her family. So we moved up to Yorktown. I went to high school here, and I wanted to leave so badly. I wanted to have more freedom. So I went to college away, went to University of Hartford in Connecticut. And then I said, you know what? I don't want to go home either. I don't want to come back home. I like that freedom. Home is a very grown up toxic place, I guess. And I don't know, no love. I'm gonna say that. But so after living here for like a few months after graduating, I moved to DC. And I think, honestly, I think in moving to DC, I'm like, I'm searching for myself, but then I searched myself in the wrong places. So I ended up in a very toxic relationship, and then I ended up back here. So it's kind of like, one of those slap in the face things life does to you to kind of wake you up to be like, kind of find your happiness within yourself, stop trying to look for it. And yeah, so I'm here. I think I'm gonna stay put for a little while until I'm called to go somewhere else. And yeah, that's kind of it.
Can I say
Good.
something? Well, this is something my husband said. I thought it was really funny because my son and his wife, they went on this 10-month RV trip because they don't like this. They wish their life was here. The life is always greener. And my husband said, no matter where you run, you're always there.
Yeah.
yeah. The other thing, I mean, Inez mentioned the thing about the commercial potential. think everyone on this call and probably everyone in the PAA, everyone does art because they need to do art, right? Every artists need to make things. And but you don't necessarily make your living solely through the art. People find other ways to economically support themselves, that either there are a lot of art teachers here. There are a lot of people who have done graphic art, found a way to support themselves with their talents, and in their free time painted or, made sculpture or whatever. So I think the exploration can allow you to not to put so much pressure on whether the art, the painting, the art itself is the commercial success at this stage of your life.
Yeah.
And that's my sort of view. I got the same kind of advice you did. I didn't do art for years and years and years of my life because it wasn't considered a reasonable way to support yourself in my family.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do have a question for you. And you presented that you had done watercolor, acrylic, and oils and gouache. Is there any so far? I know it can change. Don't feel that it can't change, but is there any that you like working with the most out of those mediums?
Watercolor.
Watercolor.
Really?
Would you like the fluidity of it or the?
Yeah, it's so free. Yeah.
It does. Your work, your watercolor is definitely very fluid. Yes, it
Yeah.
really. You can feel the medium as when you look at it. Visual.
Right.
Look at
Yeah.
Although I do love your acrylics
Thank
and
you.
your oils and your gouache. I do. I love them all.
I like watercolor because it's kind of freeing. So and I don't do it often, but I mean, if I get in the mood to, it's just there, I'll just let it kind of spill out. And then kind of take something, whatever pops into my mind. I don't know, the creative process, but yeah, I like watercolor because it's more freeing.
Thank you.
And I feel like I can control it. I think I could control it.
Which is very hard to do.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I can control it and kind of get the message out that I want to from it.
Thank you.
Nikah, I think also what's important, I think, as in watching your presentation, is to value your resourcefulness. You really, you sort of don't tell me I can't do this because I'm going to do it. I mean, basically, that I feel like you have that stance. But with that is that you've opened yourself up to, places that you can exhibit that I think a lot of people who have been schooled may not even consider or know about. So I think, I really admire your resourcefulness.
Thank you. I think one of the, one of the key parts for me, because one of the pieces that are in the show at the Center of Health is the guy with the head wrap. And this is my uncle who was imprisoned here. He came up here when he was young, like 20. Yeah, like 20. And he got deported when he was 46. So he's been in the prison system for 26 years. He's from Jamaica. And, he taught me art through jail. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say it candid like that, because he would send me, letters and draw me or draw things within his cell. And then like I would draw something back and it'd just be like doodles on like, our notebook paper. And that was kind of like a way of just us communicating and learning from one another. And I don't know, he's been like it's kind of weird because, he's not here physically with me, but my number one supporter in that. So I want to pay ode to him in, this kind of first ever public viewing of my talents or skills and use him within that space. And in using the resourcefulness of him and his presence or his being or his ability, because he strives as an artist too and finds it difficult, or in places where I find it difficult, and taught me just like a lot to kind of keep going, because of the stigma of him being in jail. He's kind of seen maybe like, he won't be able to do nothing. Probably my son.
Thank you.
Probably seem like he won't be able to do anything because like, he's been deported or he's been in jail or he's like, some sort of convict and stuff like that. But it's like, in life, yeah, you make your mistakes and you should be forgiven for it. And I think, yeah, just hopefully get that point that I'm making.
Nikah,
Yes.
I have to excuse myself because I had to jump into something else. The only thing I want to ask you publicly is just stay a little while. Stay a little while with us.
Yeah.
You came to Peekskill and we met. And I say thank you. Thank you. Just stay a little while.
Oh, yeah.
So the people that are here are just precious. Thank you, PAA. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
you're welcome. Thank you for introducing us to Nikah.
Precious.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful, beautiful evening, everyone, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Wilfredo. You
Wilfredo.
too.
Good night, Wilfredo.
Hi.
Oh.
Yes, please stay a little while, Nikah.
Yeah.
I will.
Well, and we want to see more of you. We
Yeah.
want to, and I think there are a lot of people here who you can tap as resources too. There's a lot of talent in this community, and a lot of good people. So.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Good
your
night, Taji.
incredible show.
Thank you.
Keep
Good
it up.
night.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
That was great.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. That was fabulous.
Thank you
Great.
so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Good night.
Robin.
Thank you,
Oh, you're
Robin.
welcome. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you,
I hope-
Nikah.
Good
That
Good
was
night,
fabulous.
Taj. You're gonna go to bed now?
Yeah. All right.
Thanks again, Nikah.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Very cute.
Okay,
Robin, we're still here.
I know. I'm ending the meeting. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.